Sarah stared at her phone, her finger hovering over the wish app icon, heart pounding. It had promised her everything she ever wanted, and for a while it delivered money, success, love. But now she couldn't escape the nightmare it had created. Every wish had come through, yet every wish had also taken away something. Now her life was crumbling piece by piece, and she was out of time. Nairobi's bustling streets always made Sarah feel alive. The cacophony of honking cars, the smell of street food vendors grilling in Yamachoma, and the rhythmic hum of people moving at their own pace. But today, none of that mattered. Her anxiety clung to her like a shadow she couldn't shake. At 27, Sarah was a struggling entrepreneur trying to get her tech startup off the ground. After 2 years of late nights, endless pitches, and rejected funding applications, she was tired. She had the skills, the ambition, and the ideas, but the door to success seemed perpetually locked. Everyone else around her was moving forward. Her college friends had corporate jobs, traveling, buying cars, building houses. Meanwhile, her bank account was shrinking and her dream felt more distant than ever. "I'm proud of you for pushing through," said her best friend Linda one afternoon as they sipped coffee. "But maybe you should take a break. You've been at this for too long without a real win." "I can't afford to take a break," Sarah sighed, rubbing her temples. "If I stop now, it's over. I just need one good opportunity to turn everything around." That's when Linda pulled out her phone with a glint in her eye. "Have you heard of this new app?" she asked, showing Sarah the sleek purple icon with a single word, "Wish." "What is it?" Sarah asked, intrigued by the mysterious name. "They say it can grant you anything you want," Linda whispered. "Success, love, money, you name it. You just make a wish." Sarah laughed, but there was a flicker of curiosity in her mind. "That sounds ridiculous. It's just some scam." Linda shrugged. "Maybe, but I know a guy who used it and now he's swimming in money, and he was broke before." As she listened to Linda, something shifted inside Sarah. Could this be the answer to her prayers? Something so simple, so quick, something that could help her finally get ahead. But she brushed it off, thinking it was just one of those too good to be true things. That night, though, as Sarah sat alone in her apartment, surrounded by bills she couldn't pay and a business that felt like it was slipping through her fingers, she found herself opening the app store. Wish was there, glowing temptingly on her screen. "Grant your deepest desires," the tagline read. She hesitated for a moment before downloading it. The app opened to a dark interface with a single glowing button that read, "Make your wish." The simplicity of it unnerved her. There was no instructions, no terms and conditions, just that glowing button. Sarah chuckled nervously. "This is ridiculous," she muttered to herself, but something deep inside her, some mix of desperation and hope, urged her to try it. After all, what did she have to lose? She thought for a moment, then typed, "I wish for funding for my startup." The screen blinked for a second and a message popped up, "Wish granted." Nothing happened. No sudden windfall, no magical transformation. She sighed, annoyed at herself for believing in something so childish. But as she went to close the app, her phone buzzed with an email notification. It was from a venture capital firm, a firm that had rejected her months ago, telling her she wasn't ready for the investment. Now, the email was different. "We have reconsidered your proposal. We are interested in funding your startup. Let us set up a meeting." Sarah's heart raced. She read the email again and again. Could it be a coincidence? Or was this the app working? Her doubts melted into excitement. This was it, a big break. The meeting was set for the next day, and by the end of it, she had secured $500,000 in funding. She couldn't believe it. Wish had worked. In the weeks that followed, Sarah's life transformed. She became a sensation in the Nairobi startup scene. With her company growing rapidly, investors, media outlets, and influential business people were suddenly interested in her. It was everything she had dreamed of. And whenever things got tough, she turned to the app. When her business faced hurdles, she would make another wish and the problems would vanish. When she felt lonely, she wished for love, and soon after, she met Brian, handsome, charming, everything she had ever wanted in a partner. For a while, life was perfect. Sarah felt unstoppable. But then, strange things started happening. Sarah's business started facing unexpected setbacks, contracts fell through, investors became skittish, and key employees quit without warning. One night over dinner, Brian leaned in and said, "You seem distracted today. Everything okay?" Sarah forced a smile. "It's just work. Some things have been going wrong, but I'm sure it will all be fine." Brian reached across the table and took her hands. You know I'm here for you, right? We can get through anything. But Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Despite Brian's reassurances, her world was unraveling. Every wish had come through, but it felt like the more she gained, the more she lost. The breaking point came when Sarah's company faced a devastating lawsuit. She had no idea where it had come from. A disgruntled former client had accused her business of fraud and the media was eating it up. Her investors began to pull out. Also, employees who had once been loyal and hardworking suddenly quit without explanation. Some of her most promising business deals fell through at the last minute as Sarah began noticing cracks in her once flawless empire. She tried making more wishes to fix things, but the more she wished, the more out of control life seemed to be. One day, after a particularly grueling week, Sarah opened the app, desperate to fix everything, but when she tried to type a wish, the screen went black. A new message appeared. Every wish has a price. Her blood ran cold. She had never seen that message before. Suddenly, her phone buzzed with a flood of notifications, texts, emails, social media messages, all with accusations and threats. Her company was being investigated for fraud. Someone had leaked confidential information about her business practices to the press. Her investors were pulling out and her employees were in open revolt. Panicking, Sarah tried to make another wish, but the app wouldn't respond. The same message flashed on the screen. Every wish has a price. She frantically called Linda, but her friend didn't pick up. In a desperate attempt to understand what was happening, Sarah went to the apartment of the guy Linda had mentioned, the one who had supposedly used the app to get rich. But when she arrived, she found his place abandoned, a for sale sign in the yard. She knocked on the neighbor's door and an older woman answered. The man who lived there, Sarah began. Do you know where he went? The woman's face turned pale. He vanished, she whispered. People said he got too greedy, wished for too much. One day he was just gone. Everything he had gone. Later that afternoon, she met with Linda at the coffee shop. Tell me about the app you mentioned, Sarah asked her friend. What app? Wish? Linda asked. Yes, that one. Why? Things are going well for you. Are you considering it now? Linda asked with a raised brow. No, I'm just curious, she lied. Well, it's an app, Linda explained. It grants you whatever you want. Seriously, anything. But she hesitated, her voice dropping even lower. I heard it has a price. Sarah chuckled, shaking her head. Linda, come on, you can't be serious. I am. Linda's expression was dead serious. Remember Fatima? Sarah's eyes widened. Fatima was one of their mutual friends, a successful fashion designer who had recently skyrocketed to fame seemingly overnight. What about her? Linda leaned closer. She used it. She told me about it at a party last month. One day she was struggling like us. The next, her designs were all over the cover of Vogue Africa. It was all too sudden. She said she made a wish for success and boom, her life changed. But she also warned me something went wrong. Sarah's curiosity piqued. What do you mean? Fatima doesn't talk about it, but after her wish, strange things started happening. Her closest friends began distancing themselves. Her family fell apart and then she disappeared for 2 weeks. When she came back, she wouldn't talk about where she's been, but she wasn't the same. She's successful, sure, but something about her is like she's lost herself. Sarah sat back, processing Linda's words. Fatima indeed had risen to fame out of nowhere. Could this app really be behind it? I don't know, Sarah muttered, her voice laced with doubt. It sounds ridiculous. Linda nodded slowly. Maybe it is, but she told me to stay away from the app. She said once you start using it, there is no going back. Panic gnawed at her. She knew that there was only one person left to turn to, Fatima. She found Fatima in a quiet cafe downtown, looking more exhausted and worn than Sarah remembered. Fatima's eyes were dark, her movement slow, as if the weight of the world pressed down on her shoulders. Fatima, I need to ask you about the wish app, Sarah said, her voice trembling. Fatima's gaze snapped up and for a moment a flicker of fear crossed her face. You used it, didn't you? I didn't think it would be a big deal. I just wanted some success, a little help, but now everything is falling apart. Fatima leaned back, her fingers trembling as she stirred her coffee. That's how it starts. You think it's harmless, you make your wishes, and at first it all seems perfect, but then the app starts taking, slowly, quietly, and before you realize it, you've lost control. What happened to you? Sarah asked, leaning in. Fatima sighed, her voice barely above a whisper. I wished for success. I wanted to be the best designer in Africa, and I got it, but my family fell apart. My mother got sick, my sister cut ties with me, and my friends, they are all gone. Then one night I got a message from the app, time to collect. I disappeared for 2 weeks because I was trapped in a nightmare. The app showed me everything I had destroyed with my greed. Sarah's heart raced. What does this mean? What happens when it's time to collect? Fatima met her gaze. Her voice cold. It takes what matters to you. After a conversation with Fatima, Sarah returned to her apartment terrified. She stared at her phone. She needed to understand what was happening. She scoured the internet searching for anything about the Wish app. Finally, she stumbled on a forgotten forum post that sent chills down her spine. The post was written by someone claiming they had used the app. It's one that the app didn't just grant wishes, it took something in return. The more you wished, the more it demanded. And when they had taken enough, it came for you. In a panic, Sarah began to retrace every wish she had made. For every success she gained, someone else had suffered. For every happy moment she had, someone else had lost. The balance sheet was tipping, and now the app was demanding payment. Her phone buzzed, a new notification from Wish. You have one final wish. Trembling, Sarah realized that this was it, her last chance, but she didn't know what the cost would be. If she wished for everything to go back to normal, would she lose everything? Her company, her love, her life, or will she break free from the app's hold? Sarah stared at the blinking cursor, her mind racing. How could she outsmart the app? How could she escape its grasp without destroying everything she had worked for? Suddenly, the realization hit her. The app fed on greed, on insatiable desire for more. The only way to beat it was to stop playing its game, to wish for nothing. With trembling fingers, Sarah typed, I wish to be free from all my wishes. The app flickered for a moment, and then a new message appeared. Wish granted. For a moment, there was silence. The room felt still, almost unnaturally quiet. Sarah stared at her phone, waiting for something, anything to happen. But the app's icon slowly faded from her screen, and with it, all the chaos seemed to vanish. In the weeks that followed, Sarah's life began to settle. She lost some of her wealth, and her company wasn't that meteoric as it had been, but it was stable. More importantly, she felt at peace. Her relationship with Brian dissolved, but it was for the best. She realized that her love for him had been built on a wish, not reality. As she walked through Nairobi, feeling the sun on her face, Sarah knew she had finally found what she had been searching for all along. Not success, not love, not money, but peace. True peace, and it was something no app could ever give her. My listeners, it is important to be wary of the law of fast success. When something seems too good to be true, it often comes with a price. Sarah learned that shortcuts and quick fixes can lead to greater losses than the struggles we try to avoid. In life, there are no free rewards. Everything requires effort, patience, and balance. Success earned the right way, with hard work and integrity, is the kind that lasts. Always remember, be careful what you wish for, because you never know what it might take from you. Thank you for watching. Did you enjoy this story? Did you take any learnings from it? I'd like to hear from you in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay kind and be blessed.